Well, good evening and Happy New Year. Welcome to Beaches Watch, first meeting of the new year, and we are happy to be having presentations from our three beaches mayors. Mayor Ellen Glasser from Atlantic Beach, Mayor Elaine Brown from Neptune Beach, and who will be joining us in just a little bit will be Mayor Chris Hoffman from Jacksonville Beach. I think she's finishing up a meeting now at City Hall. So I'm Maria Mark, I'm president of Beaches Watch, and I'll be hosting the meeting tonight. So welcome. Few announcements before we get started. As always, our meetings are videoed. And so tomorrow, if you want to watch this again or share this with your friends who are not able to join us, you can see this again on our YouTube channel at Beaches Watch 2012. Our 2022 Beaches Watch membership is in full swing. So it's time to renew your membership. The dues have remained the same. They are $15 for individual, $20 for family, and $5 for students. There are yearly memberships from January through December, and you can renew your membership and or make a donation online at our website at beacheswatch.com. I'd like to go ahead and recognize our elected officials. As I mentioned, we have the mayors from the three beaches, Mayor Ellen Glasser from Atlantic Beach, Mayor Elaine Brown from Neptune Beach, and again, Mayor Chris Hoffman will be joining us in just a few minutes. And then we have Sandy Golding, who is a City of Jacksonville Beach City Councilwoman. So welcome. And so Mayor Chris Hoffman is here. So welcome, Mayor Hoffman. Let's see if we have any other. City Councilman Matt Carlucci sends his apologies. He definitely wanted to attend, but unfortunately he had a town hall meeting that he had a commitment to. So he will not be able to attend in person, but he said he will definitely watch this on video. Okay, a few announcements. The Florida 2022 legislative session dates. This year we're starting in January, so it'll start January 11th and run through March 11th. We will have our update on the good, the bad, and the ugly that happened during that session. We will also get some updates from our mayors, I think, on some of the things that are coming up that we should be aware of as they start the new session. Martin Luther King Day, the celebration will be Saturday, January 15th at 11 a.m. It will start at the Seawalk Pavilion in Jacksonville Beach, and this is hosted by the Rhoda L. Martin Cultural Heritage Center. Hopefully, weather will cooperate and we'll have a good showing for that celebration. The city meeting dates are changed due to the MLK holiday. So Jacksonville Beach City Council meeting will now meet on Tuesday, January 18th at 6 p.m. And as well as Neptune Beach City Council, this is a workshop. Neptune Beach City Council workshop has been scheduled for also Tuesday, January 18th at 6 p.m. Jacksonville Beach will be holding a special City Council briefing to discuss the Central Business District height limit and bar licenses. This is scheduled for Thursday, January 20th at 5:30 p.m. It will also be held as a virtual meeting on YouTube. So I'm not sure, are you holding it in person at all, or is it just going to be virtual meeting? Mayor Hoffman.
It's a virtual briefing. It's how we've been doing all of our briefings. So it's just a meeting of the City Council. No votes will take place.
Okay. So for those of you who have been following this or maybe have not been following this, this is a meeting to discuss possibly changing the height limit in the Central Business District, and as well as increasing the number of quota, which is the full bar licenses allowed by their city charter. Right now, there's a limit of 12 full bars that was approved by the voters in the 50s. So on January 20th, the council will have a special briefing to discuss the community input on that, as well as the height limit. Full bars, for those who don't know, are bars that do not serve any food, they just sell alcohol. So
Maria, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just while
Okay.
that's fresh, it's the discussion is not necessarily to increase the number of bars. It's to how to determine what that number is. So it's not necessarily a discussion of an increase. It's just a discussion of how it's delineated in our charter.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Okay. Continuing on, let's see. Neptune Beach, they're seeking candidates for council seat 5, which was held by, his name just escaped me. Where's Mayor Brown?
Fred Jones.
Fred Jones.
Fred Jones, thank you, Fred Jones. So the deadline for filing for candidates is January 28th, 2022. They must be a registered voter and have been a resident of Neptune Beach for at least 6 months. So interested candidates must submit a letter of interest, their resume, and affidavit of residency to the city clerk at Neptune Beach, or you can do it online at clerk@nbfl.us. Our city of Jacksonville special election will be held. The early voting will start February 12th and run through February 20th, and that will be at our Beaches Branch Library, open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the actual election day is February 22, 2022. To learn about the Jacksonville special election candidates, you can go on, we actually have their questionnaires, those that responded, on our website. Let's see, Nick Howland and Tracy Polson are the 2 candidates that are in the runoff. So last is save the date. Wednesday, February 2 at 7 p.m. will be our next meeting. And will cover what is going on in the 2022 legislative session. We will have our speaker, Scott Dudley from the Florida League of Cities, to give us an update on what is happening at that session. That will also be held virtual. We were really hoping to have our first meeting of the first year in person, but with the outbreak and the rise of the COVID Omicron, we decided it would be safer and vigilant to continue to hold our virtual meetings until later notice. Let's see, I don't know if we have any other announcements. Okay, it looks like we are good with announcements. So I'd like to go ahead and start our program with the State of the Beaches reports from our mayors. And we will begin with our Atlantic Beach. Mayor Ellen Glasser. Mayor Glasser, you're on.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Beaches Watch, as always, for all that you do. Happy New Year. I'm sorry we couldn't meet in person also, but I guess that will happen soon enough. So let me expand my screen. It's a pleasure always to join with the other lady mayors. We've sort of had a term coined for us, the 3 lady mayors, because we go to a lot of events together, and we certainly do get along well and learn a lot from each other. So, of course, we have a 5-member commission in Atlantic Beach. It's my honor to serve with the rest of our commission. That's Mayor Pro Tem Brittany Norris, Mike Waters, Bruce Bowl, and Candace Kelly. As you probably all know by now, we don't operate like the city of Jacksonville does. We operate under a council manager form of government, where our city manager operates essentially as the chief executive officer, and the elected legislative body works like a board of directors. So it's my privilege to work with Shane Corbin as our city manager. I consider him my partner, and I can say that all of us mayors have gone through a lot and work really closely with our city managers and our other charter officers. Here's just a quick shot of our department heads. I'm very pleased that in my time as mayor, we have built a very cohesive and strong team. So left to right, that includes Dan Arlington, Vic Gualilo, Steve Swan, Amanda Askew, Kevin Hogenkamp, Latrina Thomas, who's our new interim Recreation Department Director, Melissa Burns, Troy Stevens, and Scott Williams. They're very committed to our city, and we are also very thankful to our citizen committee members who are residents. So I'll speak a little bit to the values that we have in Atlantic Beach. Our three cities share a lot, but we are also uniquely different. Here in Atlantic Beach, we work hard to maintain our quality of life and our residential way of life. We value our natural assets like our neighbors do, but that's a top priority for us in Atlantic Beach. And we want to be good stewards of our environment. So that's the piece on the far right about resiliency and sustainability. So you can see what this represents to us. We had one of our residents do this drone video for us, thanks Jared, which really sort of shows our commercial corridor there along Atlantic Boulevard, the marsh in the background with Jacksonville in the distance, the homes along the beachfront and the beautiful ocean, and then of course, that dense tree canopy that we like to brag about so much. So let me exit out of that. And then move on. So what you saw from the drone shot was what we look like on the outside, but this is what we look like on the inside. Really, it's about serving the people. They are our passion. So it's people and service. And these are just some of the community shots of our children, our seniors, our volunteers, and our police department. So I'm going to really give more than just a one-year snapshot. I really want to talk about really what's been going on for the past 5 years, because it has been really part of a plan to really update and have a plan for growth in the future. And so every year we do a visioning process, but still we are focused on these three top priority areas: public safety, which is going to be true across the whole beaches area. But we're really proud of the fact that we have very low response times, a very low crime rate, and our officers are very committed to being community police officers. In terms of resiliency, I love this word because it really captures both human resiliency and environmental resiliency. So that really could mean we had an equity initiative after the events of 2020 to look at race in our city. It could be dune renourishment. It could be that we are a silver certified LEED city. It could be our stormwater planning. So that resiliency priority is a pretty major one in terms of how we structure our work and our capital improvements and our upgrades. And then finally, city services, because we know that we serve the residents and they expect when they come in for a permit that they'll be able to get it, you know, within a reasonable period of time. When they put their trash out, it'll be picked up. So we have tried to speed up the permitting processes, particularly with fences. And of course, you're hearing a lot about trash. We're really happy with our new trash hauler. We have had fewer complaints with Green for Life Incorporated than we have ever had well, I say ever had, than we've had in recent memory. So that's a real plus in terms of a city service. So again, a snapshot over the last few years. In our first year as a legislative body since I've been mayor, we focused on stability and maintaining a nonpartisan tone to what we do in government. We live in a very polarized political world, and I'm very pleased that we are able to separate much of that out and work on the potholes that don't have a party. And I'm sure you've heard that cliche. In our second year, we focused on vulnerability and adaptation. That was our stormwater master plan update, looking at the things that we needed to fund and plan for. We looked at sea level rise. We looked at how vulnerable we are and what areas we need to have plans to adapt for in terms of those rising waters. In that third year, we did a complete upgrade of our land development regulations, and our planning team is just outstanding in Atlantic Beach. I'd love to find a way to give them credit for all the hard work they've done. And then finally on this slide, we have made Mayport Road a priority, whether that was to get a speed reduction, to work to create a plan for a road diet and sidewalks on the side of the road, whether it has been facade improvements and public art grants. We really believe that we can make that an area that you really don't just want to speed through, but drive to. So we've done a lot of work on Mayport Road. So I'll bring us up to sort of the present in the last few years, and I couldn't comment on this without first talking about the COVID-19 emergency and the pandemic. I won't say much more about it, except that it just keeps morphing into a new challenge. And I'm really gratified that just yesterday, the city of Jacksonville announced $2.5 million to fund testing sites throughout the county, one of which is the site that is at the old Kmart lot in Neptune Beach, and Mayor Brown may allude to that, but that's something we really needed. So as part of the pandemic, we focused on what we could do to help our small businesses, and we took money out of our budget to provide grants to those businesses. It was much appreciated because many were struggling. So I'm really pleased to say that while the struggle continues for some of them, we've had a number of new businesses form. They came up with creative ways to offer services. And so our business community is relatively strong in Atlantic Beach. So more recently, we updated our parks master plan. We are so proud of our 18 parks, both active and passive in Atlantic Beach, looked at all the amenities, how we could tie them together. And this is really a roadmap for the commission and for staff moving forward. So we're not haphazard in terms of how we go about things. And then just recently, we passed our complete streets policy. We kind of copied the one that Neptune Beach had, but this is about making our streets inviting for bike traffic, pedestrians, and cars, because that's the kind of community we want to live in. So as sort of a recent snapshot of some of our accomplishments over the last few years, I talked about business growth, but you can see the list here. It's quite long. I highlighted a few of them just because I wanted to just sort of point them out. One is our connectivity plan, which is our sidewalks and trails plan, where they're going to go, so that we're not just responding to somebody's phone call, but we have a plan for where we want to prioritize those efforts. I talked about our first-rate garbage service, and this is particularly timely because of what we're seeing just across the ditch and how it could be so much worse. I mean, we are definitely seeing labor shortages, but we have a great team here in Atlantic Beach. So let's see, I talked about some of these other things. I'll go to the bottom of the the left-hand side of the list. We did get funding to do a complete upgrade of our Lifeguard Station, which was really mold ridden and way too small for what we needed. So we worked with the city of Jacksonville on that. Very excited about how that's going to progress in the near future. On the right-hand side, you see Mayport murals, and that was a pretty big public art push in Atlantic Beach. And we saw a lot of great economic benefits from that. We also saw a rather rundown part of Mayport Road turn into a place that people wanted to go to. And it's been a destination for photographs, sports, food giveaways, many activities. And we're hopeful to help that business owner do more in that area, but it's very exciting. Let's see what else. Our police, we support them 100%. We've outfitted them all with body cameras this year. We also are doing some things in the environmental space. We have banned polystyrene products in terms of use, distribution, and sale in city venues and on the beaches. So that's not going to affect what people can buy in the grocery store, but we do feel like we can be good stewards and keep our own house in order. We also don't use Roundup in our city parks anymore because we know the impacts of that. And we don't allow the spraying of NALED for mosquitoes without very adequate notice. As it stands, they could do that and it would almost happen after the fact before we knew. So these are some of the things we're doing to protect our residents. And at the bottom of this list, we updated our tree code. So we've done a lot, but we know there's a lot left to do. Let's see how I'm doing on time. I'm okay. Okay. So these are some pictures around town. I talked about the Mayport mural project. You can see this one on the top. That's Mr. E of the historic Voussoir, one of the oldest businesses in Atlantic Beach. And this is one of the murals people travel to see. And if you haven't been to the Voussoir, you really ought to check it out because it's really an iconic location in our city, and it represents a very rich history in the African-American community. To the left is our other oldest business, Bob's Barbershop. In the middle, we have our new green market. Actually, I take that back. The green market, it's now renamed, is it the farmer's market? It's the farmer's market. So we knew that our people wanted to have an option for healthy food in a nice environment. So when we lost the green market to Jacksonville Beach, we very quickly changed directions and found somebody who could bring us a farmer's market. And then to the right, that's Durrell, the driver that picks up my trash from GFL. Longest he's been driving for Atlantic Beach for about 17 years. Here we have some other shots, just a nod to our military there on the top left, a multiple Purple Heart recipient. We've got our guys in the holes. Boy, those public utility guys, their work is so gritty, for lack of a better word. I mean, when I see them around town, it's usually just their head sticking up out of a hole in the ground, but they're awesome. There at the left, we've got some children contributing in a workshop on one of our recent Complete Streets workshops to talk about how to improve Main Street on the Marsh side of Atlantic Beach. And then bottom right is our fabulous volunteer corps with the city of Atlantic Beach, the people that work for no money just because they love our community so much and they want to serve. So current major projects. One is our budget. We have received money, federal money from the American Rescue Plan Act. To date, we have received over we are getting over $10 million. And so we have a very bold utilities and infrastructure upgrade plan and capital improvement plan. So we have 10-year plans for both of them. With utilities, we're talking about new outfalls. We're talking about new force mains. We're talking about road work under Donner Road. We're talking about in the very near future, you're going to see the water tower in the Selva Linkside area come down because we're replacing that with more state-of-the-art infrastructure. Capital improvements, we're doing street resurfacing, and we have a plan now to address the numbered streets in Old Atlantic Beach that are really showing the wear and try to get those things to where they really belong in our city. So this is an opportunity for us. It was sort of an unexpected windfall on top of our regular budget. So we're really pleased about that. Some of the other things we're doing with utilities is we're going to try to address the remaining septic to sewer locations and major work on the water treatment plant that is on Donner Road. So quite recently, we went through a process with our community to come up with a vision statement for our city. So we call it the 2040 Community Vision. We were really thrilled that we got almost 800 responses to surveys. They provided a lot of rich data for us. And then our staff, along with one of our volunteers, worked on taking that data and putting it into a statement that sort of represents who we are and where we want to be. So I'm going to read it because it is so important. Here's the vision statement. In Atlantic Beach, we have a strong sense of belonging and safety. Our citizens and government care deeply about community character, and we understand that unified support is required to preserve it. I emphasize preserve. We are graced with the functional beauty of our beach, our marsh, and our tree canopy. Our shady streets and multi-use paths connect our welcoming neighborhoods and vibrant local businesses. Our city supports our diverse, multi-generational, socially linked community with our green spaces, active lifestyles, parks, and programming. So, you know, whenever we made a suggestion or a tweak as this process went on, I was reminded that this came straight from the residents. This is the vision of our community. It's not my vision, the commission's vision, or the staff's vision. It's the vision of the people that provided input. So we consider this to be very, very meaningful and valuable. And I hope that it will be something that is really part of the planning until 2040. So what are we doing right now? 2022 at a glance. We have finally pieced together all the funding that we need through some major appropriations from the state legislature to start the Aquatic Gardens Drainage Project. You'll recall that this community really suffered massive flooding back in 2015. It's taken this long for us to find all the funding that we need to do this right. There was just not infrastructure under this part of our city. We have a goal to get funding from the city of Jacksonville to expand our Baker Center. We have the three centers, Baker, Jordan, and Adele Grange, and the Baker Center serves a lot of kids and seniors, and it's busting at the seams. So we're very optimistic that Councilman Diamond is going to help us get funding for expanding the facility and our programming. So let's see, we also have a major road reconstruction that will be starting pretty soon on Donner Road, which is really a gateway to the city from Mayport Road. That's going to include a wider sidewalk, infrastructure projects, and better drainage. While it's not highlighted, we are very hopeful that we will be able to put out an RFP and actually paint the flyover, put a mural on the flyover. We want this to be, it won't be like the one that was done along the Mayport corridor. This is going to be a much more community driven project, but very thematic. So we'll be looking for public input on that, but that's very exciting. And I hope that we get the support of the community for it. Let's see, I'll mention this because some people ask me about it a lot. When I became mayor, I really hoped that we could have a bike facility in Atlantic Beach for not just the little kids or the people that ride their road bikes, but for the kids in the middle, our youth. We couldn't find a location in Atlantic Beach that we thought was going to work. And so again, we have been working with the city of Jacksonville to put a bike park in a pocket park off of Mayport Road, just south of the Ocean Blue Apartments. So the design should start this year. So you won't see anything for a little while, but we are making progress on that. We are going to do a redo of our public works building, and then I'll skip to a splash pad. We wanted to do something for our kids on the marsh side who don't have as easy an access to the beach. And so we're going to put a water facility over next to the Baker Center. That should be a lot of fun, and I know it will be well used. All right, so I am running out of time. We had a council on health and well-being that convened for the first time today, talking about some of the quality of life issues. I'm really excited about working on this for the next year. One of the things that we'll be talking about is the Blue Zones project at the beaches. So we have a few things on our calendar coming up. We hope to see you at some of them. One's Shakespeare in the Park on Friday and Saturday, and then a few more things. So I really appreciate your time. And if we can come back later and talk about legislative matters, I'm happy to do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Glasser. A lot of exciting things happening in Atlantic Beach as always. Before we get to Mayor Brown, I just want to recognize some other elected officials that tuned in with us. We do have Brittany Norris, who is Mayor Pro Tem, the City of Atlantic Beach, Carrie Chen, who is Neptune Beach City Council, as well as Georgette Dumont, Jacksonville Beach City Council. So welcome, and we appreciate you being here. Okay, so I guess Mayor Glasser, if you want to stop sharing your screen.
Oh, I don't want to stop.
Sorry, you have to. We'll have to get the cook out if you don't. And now we will hear from Mayor Elaine Brown.
All right, good evening, Maria. Thank you. And I want to say a great big happy new year to everybody out there. Thanks, Mayor Glasser, for a great presentation. It's so nice to be here with all of you. I'm sorry that we're not in person. I know that we had thought we might be, maybe next time. And again, I hope that everybody is, staying safe during this next phase of our pandemic that we're going through. We've put together a video for you. We thought we'd have a little fun this year, and I've invited several key members of the Neptune Beach staff and key people that really are doing some moving and shaking things here in Neptune Beach. Having said that, this is truly a big shout out to all of the staff of Neptune Beach City Hall, all of our police and public works employees. It's been a rough 2021. It's still being, ups and downs that we're all having, but everybody has just been a pleasure to not only work with, but such yeomen as going forward and doing the things that have needed to be done. We have over 109 talented and dedicated employees in Neptune Beach, and I thank each and every one of you. 2021 has had its challenges for all of us, but with it, we've had some great accomplishments too. And I will say to you that as you hear about some of the projects that we have completed, some that are going on, I want you to know that in order to have a little fun tonight and inviting in some of our key Neptune Beach people, you'll be hearing about some things, and I think it's outstanding what we have been able to accomplish, and I hope that you will feel the same way. Stefan Nguyen is our city manager. You'll be hearing from him of the accomplishments of 2021 and plans, including a long-awaited announcement for Jarvis Park. Neptune Beach is a city manager form of government, and Stefan has those 109 employees and a budget of $17 million that he oversees. Our police department has a budget of $3.74 million, and public safety is the cornerstone of our community. The department is managed and headed up by our wonderful Chief of Police, Ricky Pike. The police department has grown. We have over 30 people that work with the police department and with the police officers and the police officers. We've added new vehicles, new technology to the patrol cars and services. You'll hear from Chief Pike of new officers that have joined us. Colin Moore came to us from the city of Jacksonville in 2019. He came to us as a grants and resiliency officer, but we have dumped on him and asked more of him, and he has come up and just done a great job as the project manager for Jarvis Park. He has saved us thousands and thousands of dollars. I can name you 200,000 that he saved just in project managing and doing the incredible job that he has done over at Jarvis Park. And managing the construction has not been easy. As everyone knows, there have been delays because of so much in concrete and steel and just even the park amenities that have had to come in. We waited for lights. We waited for the equipment to come in for the playgrounds. And all of that has been something that has had to be, you make one thing stop while another one goes, and you're waiting for things to happen. He's handled all this, and now we are totally on target. And you'll be hearing something really fun in just a few minutes. I am getting ready to go to our video. So I am going to share the screen here, the green, share. And we're gonna go to our video. And I'm gonna share. I hope that this is all gonna work for you guys, because this is a lot of fun and a lot of great information.
Hi, my name is Stefan Nguyen. I'm the city manager for Neptune Beach. Despite the challenges that the pandemic carried over from 2020, 2021 shaped up to be impactful for our residents. Neptune Beach continued and finished projects. We won a statewide planning award for engaging our residents during the creation of our vision plan and comprehensive plan. And we added another section to the East Coast Greenway through Gonzales Park. We've continued work on the senior center and anticipate a spring opening of this year. We completed major construction on Jarvis Park's renovation with a cost of $1.34 million, far less than the anticipated cost of $2.23 million. We achieved this by utilizing the skills of our Public Works Department to complete concrete work and by competitively bidding the ball courts. Now here's a big spoiler alert. The pickleball and tennis courts will be open January 25th. It's coming. What's new for 2022? A 5-year project is finally underway. Vital drainage improvements are coming to the Florida Boulevard culvert at 5th Street. Thanks in part to state funding assistance, the city finally began work to enlarge the culvert running underneath the road to alleviate a choke point for stormwater trying to get to the improvements completed by FDOT to the intercoastal waterway. Thanks to our vision plan and comprehensive plan, FDOT is actually making it a little safer for residents to get to the ocean. A hawk signal is being installed at Bay and 3rd to help pedestrians safely cross. Also, as part of the project, another crossing is being installed in Jacks Beach, and the intersection of 3rd and Atlantic is seeing improvements meant to make it safer for everyone to access the beach's town center area. Even more, and again, thanks to our city's vision plan and comprehensive plan, a complete streets redesign of 3rd Street from Seagate to Atlantic and from Atlantic to the Mayport flyover is now on the list of priority projects for design with FDOT. These projects will be completely transformative for our beaches communities and greatly improve our residents' quality of life. We'll continue to work alongside and collaborate with our sister cities of Atlantic Beach and Jacksonville Beach. We're already planning a collaborative approach to meeting the state requirement for zero surface water discharge of our effluent water from our wastewater treatment facilities. And the city of Neptune Beach has asked the state for $1.5 million of funding assistance for vital improvements to our existing wastewater treatment facility. You know, we need to extend a big thank you to Representative Byrd for filing House Bill 3149 to get us the ask. These are just a snapshot of some of the bigger projects that we've got going on in Neptune Beach. But we're also simultaneously working on many other infrastructure projects, as well as improving internal processes related to finance, community development, personnel management, and budgeting. We've got big things planned for 2022, and I'm sure that I can speak for all of City Hall staff when I say that we can't wait for them to be done. I've got many staff that I'd like to highlight, but I have a very important one. I'd like to introduce you to Malik Weimer, our staff accountant and payroll clerk. Monique has really shined during this transitionary period while we search for a new chief financial officer. With her help, the city has been able to continue moving forward with audits, reconciliations, budget amendments, and even making sure that our bills are paid. Even with the added duties, Monique continues to get the job done. She's an unsung hero hidden in a back office that definitely deserves recognition for a job well done. Thank you, Monique.
I'm Colin Moore, the Neptune Beach Grant and Resiliency Coordinator, and I want to share with you some of the city's resiliency and quality of life initiatives of the past year. With the assistance of a $66,000 DEP Florida Resilient Coastlines Grant, the city updated its coastal management and conservation element in the comprehensive plan to address the state's peril flood requirements, and also worked with the University of Florida to complete a preliminary vulnerability assessment. In addition, the city has entered into a partnership with the TPO's new Smart City program, Smart North Florida, to launch a resiliency lab based at Jarvis Park. Throughout 2022, this effort will work with cutting-edge technology companies to pilot sensors, gauges, and dashboards that will give the city new insights for innovative stormwater management. Speaking of Jarvis Park, 2 new playgrounds, a youth basketball court, and almost half a mile of new trails with fitness equipment are now open. And we are only 2 weeks away from the highly anticipated opening of the tennis courts and 8 new pickleball courts. The trails at Jarvis will actually become the official route of the East Coast Greenway after FDOT's installation of a hybrid pedestrian beacon and new crosswalk across A1A later this year. This will safely connect the northeast corner of the park to 1st Street, the most highly bike corridor in North Florida, with an average of 875 cyclists a day. With the steady efforts from the city of Jacksonville and the TPO also in the works, Neptune Beach is planning for an additional 3+ miles of multi-use trails on Penman Road and along A1A in the near future.
In 2021, after a courageous battle with COVID-19, the NBPD and the beaches community mourned the loss of Officer Eddie Bounds. Eddie was a beaches icon and a true legend. He served the community for over 40 years. His dedication and loyalty will never be forgotten. His wife Janice and children Tyler and Kayla will forever be a part of the Neptune Beach family. Hi, this is Richard Pike, Chief of Police of the Neptune Beach Police Department. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce 3 officers that we hired last year in 2021. I'd like to introduce Officer Philip Mazzo. Philip and his wife Elizabeth moved to the Jacksonville area from New Jersey 7 years ago. After attending the Jacksonville Police Academy, he worked for the Atlantic Beach Police Department for 5 years. Philip joined the Neptune Beach Police Department last year. We are very happy to have him, and he is doing a great job. I'd like to introduce Officer Joseph Richardson. Joe was born and raised in the Jacksonville area and attended Wilson High School. He then attended Wallace State College in Alabama before joining the United States Marine Corps. After his 4 years of service, he returned to Jacksonville and attended the Jacksonville Police Academy. He worked for the Duval County School Board Police Department for 14 years before joining the Neptune Beach Police Department. We are glad to have Joe with us, and he is doing a great job. I would also like to introduce Officer Griffin Kelly. Griffin grew up in Long Island, New York, with 3 siblings. He played football and coached at his old high school for 3 years. Griffin answered his calling and joined the NYPD and was assigned to a precinct in Times Square. In 2020, Griffin left the NYPD and moved to Northeast Florida. After working at Atlantic Beach Police Department for a short time, Griffin joined the Neptune Beach Police Department 2 months ago, and he is doing a great job, and we are glad to have him.
All right, I hope that we're back. Maria, anybody tell me? I hope that we're back on again. I hope you guys enjoyed that as
Yes.
much as we did. Thank you, Maria, I appreciate it. We had a little technical difficulty earlier, so it's good to hear that everything's going well. You know, when you see and hear the key people in Neptune Beach and the people that are really keeping the city moving forward, taking care of problems as they arise, but more than that, going that extra mile. And we are lucky to have the people that we do. So I can't say enough about how wonderful it is to work with and to have such dedicated employees. You've heard some of the very exciting completions and openings, as well as some of the plans for 2022. As we go into this year, and we have a wonderful city council, very dedicated, very hardworking. And I want to just let you know that they do more than just show up for a couple of meetings a month. They have some other responsibilities, and there's always something here that we are asking them to be involved in at City Hall. And from time to time, they're here for extra meetings that you guys are invited to, that people can come to. But most importantly, Josh Messenger, he chairs our Parks and Land Use Committee and does a fabulous job and has been one of the key people to keep everything moving as we go forward with Jarvis Park. And right from the very beginning, before he was even elected, we were all very excited because we were working together on Jarvis Park. Kerry Chin. Kerry, again, another hardworking, dedicated, and he'll be chairing the 2022 Charter Review Committee. We've already had one meeting with him, and we'll be moving forward with that very shortly. Lauren Key. Lauren is chairing our Finance Committee, and what a big job that is. She does a great job with it. And again, this is something that a lot of people would not even begin to understand the many hours that these city council members actually put in. And a great big thank you goes to all of them. We recently had the resignation of our Vice Mayor, Fred Jones. And I want to give a really big shout out to him now for all the good that he did and everything that he accomplished while he was here in Neptune Beach. But what we are going to do is we're going to have, and this process is something that we have done before. And what we'll do is if you're interested in being a city council member on the Neptune Beach City Council, then we are currently accepting, and it's called an Affidavit of Residency. And that is the actual application to be appointed by the city council to fill the vacant seat of Councilmember Jones. The deadline is January 28th, but more details are available on the website. Please look into it. And if you have any questions at all, call me, call City Hall, Stefan, and certainly the person you'll need to talk to is Catherine Thompson, our clerk of the court, and she will give you more details if you need them. And we certainly look forward to applications coming in, and it's going to be very interesting to see as we move forward. As kind of a wrap up, I want to say we've been frugal in 2020 and 2021, and we've called on Public Works to do an awful lot above and beyond, in many cases, to save the city money and yet to do a first-class job. We, like the rest of the world, have had to wait for products and supplies, causing sub-deadlines. But we have and are getting the job done. We're looking forward to 2022. 2021 gave us community participation as we developed our vision plan. And this is a really warm and wonderful thank you to everybody that participated. We had great turnouts for all of our meetings, and we thank everybody that participated in that. We've now given the Land Development Code revisions to the Community Development Board. In fact, we gave it to them tonight, and they are in the next room discussing them. And we will have future public meetings regarding these revisions that you will be able to participate in and stay abreast of. The new culvert for Florida Boulevard is underway. And yeah, there were some delays, and I will tell you that one of the delays happened because of cables that were underneath the road, and part of it was AT&T, and then they also discovered Beaches Energy has some that were no longer dedicated lines. It took a while to get those out. It's going to mean an awful lot to us in the future as we look at better drainage coming from Jack's Beach and from the newly finished renovations that have been done by the Florida DOT, by Fletcher, and certainly across 3rd Street from the east side. So we're going to be seeing some great differences in how we're able to address that just with this project. It's going to take a while. We ask for your patience for it, but it's underway now and it's going to be moving forward. We hope to have the completion of our senior center this spring, maybe, and certainly by the first of the summer. Leslie Line has done a wonderful job. We've been designing it. In fact, we were on a call today with the architects, the landscape architect. It's going to be beautiful. I think everybody here is going to be proud of it. And Leslie is ready to go with it, as are a lot of our seniors. Can't wait to see it and when we can all get back together again. The new hawk signal that Stefan talked about is something that's going to be a real great addition to 3rd Street and to the safety of so many people that cross over, bicycles, families. You know, it's really going to be a wonderful thing. It'll stop traffic. It'll be something that there's no doubt that you have a pedestrian there, and the safety, of course, is going to be something that we feel will be another premier addition to public safety. Jarvis Park pickleball and tennis courts officially opening finally on January 25th. There's some more things that are coming. We have benches that are going to be coming to Jarvis Park. We have the trees that are going to be coming there, tweaks here and there, but more important, we're using it now. And now that the court's open, I think it's going to be very busy, and the parking is also going to get better over there as well. Most important to us this year in the legislature is going to be, we've asked for, again, House Bill 3149 that Representative Byrd has put forth for $1,500,000. And this will come from the Department of Environmental Protection, funding the wastewater treatment plant and the upgrades that we need for that. We'll be following the session. I'm on the board of mayors for the League of Cities, and certainly that is something that we are looking forward to being active in and supporting our other cities of Atlantic Beach and Jack's Beach. My time is up. Is it, Marie? I see you there.
I think
Yeah, I
so.
can see the prompt, so thank you for coming up there and thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure being with you.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. It's always wonderful to hear from you and hear all the exciting things that's going on in Neptune Beach. I just want to remind our viewers that if you have any questions or comments that you would like to have the mayors respond to, please use the chat box. If you can access it by hovering or simply touching the bottom of the Zoom screen or hovering at the bottom, and you'll see the chat icon, and just type your questions or your comments in there. Okay, and now, last but not least, we'll hear from Mayor Chris Hoffman from Jacksonville Beach. Thank you, Mayor, and we look forward to your presentation.
Thank you so much. Let me get this screen going. All right, can everybody see my screen? Can't see it, somebody tell me. Mayor Brown, okay, thank you. Mayor Brown really raised the bar with her video. I was feeling pretty special having this animated opening screen here, but just completing my first year. So this is only my second State of the City. So each year, just expect more and more animation, but hopefully, as my colleague said, we'll be back in person next year. I was definitely looking forward to being in person. Sitting here alone in my office at City Hall just does not have quite the same impact as being able to see everybody's faces as we discuss the issues and answer your questions. But very thankful to Beaches Watch to give us the opportunity, and thankful to all of you for tuning in. I just came out of a 2-hour community open house regarding one of our charter issues, the Height Amendment. I'll touch on that very briefly, but hopefully that got me keyed up and ready to go with this presentation. So I'll get started. Oh, we don't need to do that. Okay, so one of the big things that we have been working on in Jacksonville Beach over the past actually couple years were some of the internal items, such as doing a full strategic plan, including our mission, vision, and values. And this really started with our relatively new city manager. He just had his 3rd anniversary, Mike Staffopoulos. When he came to the city, he with very much intentionally set up community visioning meetings to get out and to meet residents, to meet business owners, and people that are invested in stakeholders in our community. So he had, I think, about 8 different meetings. They started off in person, ended up going to virtual, of course, as so many other things did. But out of that, we had some context to start working on our mission, vision, and values. Our city council and our key staff, all of our department heads, and in several cases, they're kind of seconds in command, got together in some full day workshops, and we constructed the mission and the vision for our city. So our new mission that has been adopted by the city is responsive government focused on safety, service, and sustainability. So that's the mission of the organization. And our vision for the future of our community is a vibrant coastal community that embraces the beach life. And we put the beach life in quotations because it's hard to define, but I think you know it when you hear it. And when I explain it to people, it's the fact that I have casual flip-flops and dressy flip-flops, or when I come home and I park my car on the weekend, that I want to be able to ride my beach cruiser to anywhere that I'm going. The fact that we enjoy our outdoors and our water sports and fishing and surfing and paddleboarding and things like that so much here in our community. So that is the vision, and you'll start to see the beach life coming around. Our council has hats now with that on it. We're using it as a hashtag and really trying to make that kind of a rally cry for a lot of things that we do. And then our values that you see there: empowerment, pride, integrity, communication, teamwork, a nice little acronym, EPIC team. These actually came from the staff. So we had a staff team that worked together to put those together. So it really a great example of this, coming kind of from the bottom up, and really, coming from the people who really need to live it every day, and they truly do. And it's been great to see them be able to define their core values with that acronym. I don't know why it's not going forward. So this is a picture of some of us. This was one of the things that I think we had a Saturday, full day Saturday with our council, again, our department heads working on our strategic plan or our mission and vision. You can see most of us there. I think Georgette's head is back there, and Sandy Golding is also here somewhere off camera. But really everybody fully participated, and it was a really great collaboration to see all of us, not only just the council, but again, our department heads working together. The 4 priority areas that came out of this are quality of life, public safety, local economic development, and sustainability. So not unlike what you hear from our other neighboring communities. And I will say back to that. So now the main goal, the priority areas are being put into practice with all of our department heads in terms of their budget priorities, in terms of their project priorities. So we're really making sure that the strategic plan can be seen throughout all of the work that we do. It gives us a real framework and a structure going forward as a city for all of the things that we do. We've also been working on reviewing our charter, which has not been done in quite some time. So I think it was Mayor Brown who mentioned how many extra meetings we have. So it's not just our council meetings and briefings, but the additional charter review dates that you can see there. We did bring in outside consultant or outside attorney who has extensive experience with charter reviews to help walk us through it. And there were some very obvious things. For example, in the mayor section, it referred to only he as in reference to the mayor, where everywhere else in the charter it said he/she. So that was an easy one to identify for an update, but some of them are a little trickier. And the workshop that we just had was with regard to the height limit, as probably everyone on this Zoom knows that in 2004, Beaches Watch took a leadership role in putting the 35-foot height amendment in the charter. And that's been an item of discussion specifically to the downtown area, whether we want to carve out an opportunity to incentivize specific types of business and features, architectural features, design features that we want to see and allow an additional up to 20 feet. So if you hear talk about the height limit, it is only in regards to downtown, and it is only an additional 20 feet. I encourage you all to, it was recorded on or aired on YouTube. If you want to see how the conversation went, there's going to be a lot more discussion about that. The other item, and Maria mentioned it at the beginning of the meeting, was with regards to our quota licenses. The charter specifies that we will allow 1 quota license per 500 people based on the 1950 census. So the question is, do we want to keep that verbiage of the 1950 census in there? Obviously, we're not going to go to 1 per 500 people now, because that's a huge jump, probably 3 or 4-fold versus the population of Jacksonville Beach in 1950. So that's the discussion, whether we want to modify that. It's not necessarily an increase in quota license. It's just a discussion of do we want to change that verbiage? Anything that changes in the charter review, from making the mayor gender neutral to any change on the height limit or quota license, would go to a vote. So we have a long list of things that are going to need changing, much of which is just cleanup. So it may be over several different election cycles that you'll see that, but we will make sure that everybody has access to information on any of the proposed changes. The other cities also mentioned, and we did as well, receive American Rescue Plan funding. So between funding directly to the city of Jacksonville Beach and through the city of Jacksonville is approximately $14 million. We're planning on using those funds for some capital investment with water and sewer main improvements, chlorine conversion project, water plant upgrades and improvements. And then in our second round, we are looking at the Carver Center, which is a community center in central Jacksonville Beach, to make some upgrades and improvements there, as well as our potable water systems and cybersecurity improvements for our key infrastructure. We have a lot going on with our parks and recreation, and this again all came out of community visioning. We heard a lot of our citizens saying we want parks we can be proud of, we want them to be well maintained, we want them to be modern. and they want safe ways to get to and from key points in our cities. So we have really taken a big step forward with our urban trails plan. Again, we've hired some professionals to come in. I believe they're out of Gainesville that are helping guide this work to create some, it may be new trails, it may be using existing arteries and making them more safe for bikers, walkers, people pushing strollers, things like that. So there will be a variety of different things that we will implement in the coming years. Sunshine Playground, if you've driven by recently, don't drive your small children by because they may be devastated by the construction site that is happening now. But you can see by the rendering, it's going to be absolutely amazing. The community came together quite some time ago to put that park together, and it really served the community very well. It was getting quite run down, and this new park will be more modern, built out of more modern materials. Will have a lot of shade. You'll see the water tower there. You see the Lifeguard Station featured. So I think it's going to be something that we can be very proud of. We're trying to preserve some of the original aspects, such as the mermaid entryway. That's very important to a lot of people, especially that were involved originally. And then Gonzales Park, we are working on a plan to redo Gonzales Park. This is a community park where Sunshine South Beach Park is a destination park. Gonzales Park is a working park. We have people that use it all the time, and we want to make sure that space is used very well and effectively for the neighbors that can, walk, ride their bike, run over to the park. So you'll see some changes coming there as well. And we've had community meetings on all of these. Our Parks and Rec department is doing a fantastic job with QR codes and surveys, open houses, and really making sure that they get input from the citizens, especially in the neighboring areas, as early on in the process as they can. We have some downtown development. Everybody always asks me about the Pier, and I immediately say that's Jacksonville's Pier. Here's Rory Diamond's email address. It is not our pier, unfortunately, although because it does hang off of our beach, so people assume that it's ours. So I hear what you hear, which is they're expecting a spring reopening, but I have some wise sources that would say probably into the summer before the pier reopens. So we're anxiously awaiting that. We do have a plan to do a better entryway. We are also talking to the about potentially seeking management of the pier at the retail facility there. We have Oku Sushi opening any minute. This is in that corner space that's right there by Lynch's off of 4th and 1st. And then Spring Hill Suites is underway. The council has asked the Community Redevelopment Agency, which is a citizen board, to really focus on economic development downtown. We've spent decades working on the infrastructure, stormwater, drainage, parking, things like that. And now we really want to work on being intentional about the businesses that we're trying to attract downtown. So they are working on a plan for public-private partnerships, an incentive package, and the goal to encourage mixed-use development, enhance usable green space, and to make this a downtown that our residents really want to come to and to enjoy. We have some other new businesses. Element is also right downtown. That lot sat empty there for 17 years, so it's exciting to see something come on board there. Factory Brewing is a new local brewery. These are the guys from Void magazine. So upstairs is all a co-work space. Downstairs is brewery. You can also get coffee there and a small retail space. Wonderbird, conveniently located across from my office, so I can smell fried chicken when the wind is right. And Bento recently opened in the shopping center there off of Beach Boulevard. And coming soon in our downtown area, just across from City Hall, will be the Jacksonville Beach Town Center. They have announced the 2 restaurants that will be going there. One is Oaxaca Club, so that'll be a higher end Mexican restaurant, and the Jekyll Island Brewing, which is a Georgia-based restaurant chain that focuses on a brewery and executive chef-led menu. And then Beach Bowl, we're all anxiously awaiting the return of Beach Bowl, and they're moving on their construction. Some other projects, without a doubt, you've heard about the Adventure Landing proposal that the Beach Marine, there's a Beach Marine project as well being proposed, and Penman Road project is also starting their community meetings. So all three of these projects have held community meetings, and the top two specifically to Jacksonville Beach, to give the developers the opportunity to kind of put their plans out early on to not just the council, but the planning commission, and to give citizens a chance to ask questions and to give input. And they've been very willing to do that. Adventure Landing was supposed to be on the planning commission's agenda a couple of weeks ago, but they deferred their vote. So I'm not exactly sure when that's going to come back up, but keep an eye out for that to come around. And then Penman Road, we just had our very first community meeting. So we will be having several of those. It was astonishing to see the timeline, because it will be several years before it starts, and definitely before it's completed. But I know we're all anxiously awaiting improvements on Penman Road. A couple of big events. We just ended Deck the Chairs, as you know, is a wonderful event in our community. And I believe this was their 9th year. So it was definitely the best one ever. We have the 26.2 with Donna is going to be moving. It's always run the entire length of Jacksonville Beach, but when they moved their start and finish line to the beaches, they went to the beaches town center, but now they'll be moving the start and finish line into Jacksonville Beach. So we're excited to have them. I think we've got a lot more space, and I think they're looking forward to having a little room to spread out, although I know they're very grateful to the hospitality of Neptune and Atlantic Beach. And then we have the Supergirl Surf Pro. This was an incredible event that happened in November. This was their first year in Jacksonville Beach, and hopefully the first of many. It was an incredibly well done event. That one, along with Fin Fest that was held in the fall, they really embrace that beach life mentality. And those are the kind of events that I love to see coming to the beaches area and to Jacksonville Beach. We are planning on reviewing our special events policy this year as well. To get into the state issues, I will say I'm very happy that our council has taken a very active role with League of Cities. Sandy Golding has really led the way for us on that, and our new council members, Dan, Chet, and Fernando, they all participated in the EMO program, which is an introductory program for municipal officials. So they completed their kind of round one, and everybody's pretty engaged in watching the different legislative issues that come along. We also won an environmental stewardship award for our Clean Dark Flat campaign, which was a really great campaign in partnership with Beaches Energy, the Sea Turtle Patrol, and our local coffee shops. So I can foresee that coming back. Make sure next time you see it, grab that coffee mug, because we sell them out every year. So they're going to be collectibles pretty soon. I don't know if we're going to talk about this later, but the legislative session just started 2 days ago. City of Jacksonville Beach always watches the short-term rental issue. Neptune Beach and Atlantic Beach are grandfathered into their ban on short-term rentals. Jacksonville Beach, however, is not. So the proposed legislation that we're seeing right now is not quite as bad as it's been in the past, but we are keeping an eye on it, because really anything can change until the governor signs it. You just never really know what's going to happen. Another issue that's out there is smoking in public parks and beaches. We are preempted from doing anything about smoking in public parks and beaches in our communities, and that's a state level preemption. So I know there's a bill that's working its way through to remove that. There's also a couple really burdensome legislative requirements. One of them requires for any ordinance that we have to do an economic statement and provide all sorts of additional information that we don't normally have to do now. So it's going to make it very burdensome to local governments to pass ordinances. And there is also another piece of legislation that would allow businesses to sue the city if any of our action resulted in a 15% decrease in their business. So it's all very nebulous, all very a lot of unknowns there. So through the League of Cities and through our lobbyists, we're keeping a really close eye on those issues. We rolled out a new website this year, and if you have ever seen our old website, I wish I had a side by side, because they couldn't be more different. This website is beautiful. I think we actually used the same company to do our website as our neighbors. And we know why, because it's exceptionally easy to navigate, easy to use. It looks great. It's easy to update. So I encourage you to go on and look around and learn how to navigate. You can also sign up with an account where you will get specific information on items that you're interested in. So of course, all of our meetings, agendas, minutes, everything is posted there, but there's so many more resources that you can find on our website. And then I just wanted to plug all of our social media handles. We are doing a much better job thanks to our relatively new communications manager, Jacob, who also I should publicly thank for helping me with this beautiful slideshow. He'll be helping me make a video next year, I can assure you, but we've got great things coming in Jacksonville Beach, and I appreciate your time and support.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Hoffman. So looks like we pretty much ran on time, even with a few difficulties, but if we can get all the mayors to come back on and unmute, then we can start with questions that's been submitted by our viewers. One is I will address to all of the mayors. Is everybody here? Everybody back? Okay. And let's see. This is talking about the CBD dispensaries. And this viewer wanted you to compare and contrast the different approaches to CBD dispensaries / dispensaries across the 3 cities and how that impacts city safety strategies.
I didn't get the question. I'm sorry, Maria, I didn't understand the question.
Before you repeat it though, Maria, I think she means medical marijuana dispensaries.
Right.
Oh,
CBDs aren't regulated dispensaries.
We don't have any in Atlantic Beach.
Okay.
yeah, we don't have any in Neptune Beach either.
So for
You have
Jacksonville Beach, you know that the amendment to allow medical marijuana in Florida passed, I think it was over 74-75% in Jacksonville Beach, and it passed resoundingly in the state of Florida, but that still requires implementation language from the state legislature. So what they did in their infinite wisdom was say local municipalities can either ban medical marijuana dispensaries, or they can allow them wherever you allow a pharmacy. So in zoning districts where you allow a pharmacy, you have to allow medical marijuana dispensaries. So we do, I know in our central business district, they're allowed by conditional use. I don't know off the top of my head if they're conditional use or permitted use in our other districts, but that we do allow them in any commercial district where pharmacies are allowed. I will say to that, we have not heard of any specific crime related issues. They're very secure, and largely because it's a cash business, and they have kind of controlled access and admittance to them because you still have to have a medical marijuana card. A lot of people got concerned when there was a real influx in Jacksonville Beach. We saw them popping up all over the place. I believe, and I have heard that was in preparation for people thinking that recreational marijuana was going to be legalized on the 2020 ballot, which it was not. So I think people were kind of trying to get a foothold into the community, and then several of those never even opened. They might have put up a sign and they never opened. So hopefully that answers the question.
Okay.
So I'll just add on and say that our commission did look at the zoning issue with this. And so what Mayor Hoffman said is correct, but we have a regulation that you can't have 2 pharmacies within X distance of each other. And so because of what we already have in our community, and also distance from schools or where there's daycare. So there are a few locations where somebody could open up a dispensary, but we haven't had one yet. In fact, there was one waiver request and it was denied in Atlantic Beach.
All right. Mayor Brown, any
So
comment?
we don't have them, and we have not had any requests for them at all.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Okay. So I had a couple of questions that have been submitted via email. This will be to Mayor Hoffman. This citizen wants to know what, if anything, is being done or can be done to enforce businesses on 3rd Street to maintain the curb appeal of their business. Anyone can readily see at least half, in their humble opinion, of the 3rd Street businesses do not maintain outside of their locations. For example, Walgreens at 3rd and Beach looks like a tornado hit it on a good day.
So, I'll speak to 2 different issues there. One of which is our downtown area. We do have a community redevelopment agency, and we are working on putting together a maintenance plan for our downtown. So I know exactly what is being referenced there, but there is also some right-of-way area that can be better maintained by the city, and that is something that we are working towards. I think that the other issue is code enforcement. So one of the things that we have started doing with our code enforcement is, we realized that people were waiting until Friday at 4 o'clock to start violating the code with snipe signs and, with doing things that they know violated the code, but they also know the code enforcement officer is off for the weekend. So we have members of our building department that are pitching in on the weekends and going out and addressing code violations. So we were very careful during COVID in terms of outdoor dining and, dining going into parking spots and things like that, because we knew we didn't want to push everybody back inside at that time. And we did do some emergency legislation to extend that. But in terms of signage and seating throughout the parking lots and things like that, we do have our code enforcement officers and our trained additional staff that are focusing on that. But I would also say, if you're a customer of a place and it does not look good, there's a lot of trash, I would say something to the proprietor or to the manager of the store, because I think money talks, and if you're a customer, that's that's important.
It has some kind of economic impact on them.
Exactly.
So there's a couple of questions about building walkovers for the dunes, because apparently this particular person had to help a family pull their wagon through the sands the other day. And I think there's another question about that. So are there plans to build any walkovers?
We don't have, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ellen.
Well,
Yeah.
in Atlantic Beach, we have a schedule for upgrades to walkovers. In fact, we've done about 4 of them in the last few years, and we're doing 16th Street this week. But those are redos where they really have sort of they need to be redone with these composite materials. So we have walkovers at most of them. Some of them we can't because of the emergency access that's required. So at Atlantic, we wouldn't put a walkover there. At 20th, we wouldn't put a walkover there because we have to have those accesses sort of spaced out so vehicles can get on there. We are looking at installing what's called a Moby mat for at least one of those areas, which would enable strollers and wheelchairs to have better access. But I'll tell you, there are maintenance issues with those. It's not a solution to some of those concerns, but the cities do maintain the walkovers and build the walkovers. That's our job.
Okay.
We have a ongoing plan to replace the walkovers. I don't think that we have any new additional walkovers going in, but we are using a composite material. We're also raising them by, I want to say 3 feet. Part of that is because our dune system is coming back in such a great way. And I know that's thanks to many of you on this call. I don't know if Kevin Brown's on here, but that's been a very concerted effort, and it's going very well. So when people complain about the sand coming over the walkover, it's almost hard to be mad about that because it's such a good sign. But the walkovers that have the ramps, if you look at how much space the ramp takes up, they take up much more space than a regular staired walkover. So that's part of the problem, is just having the room to put them. But I know we do have, I know for sure a brand new one in the Pier parking lot area. And we do also have a mat that goes down just outside of the Lifeguard Station, as well as handicap accessible wheelchairs, those big PVC pipe wheelchairs. So anybody who has special needs and getting down to the ocean, that's definitely the place that they want to access. But yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be more and more of a climb to get up to the beach. And it's not just for dune growth, but it's also due to sea level rise. So we're preparing ahead because, we can't replace it. They're expensive and very time consuming to replace those walkovers.
Thank you. Mayor Brown, any?
Yeah, we have actually talked about raising them as well in the future. And certainly those upgrades are going to be something that we're all going to be looked at all meeting. And we're happy to say that the dunes are doing very well. We have no plans at this time for new walkovers, but the maintenance schedule is in effect and we are certainly looking at them. Thank goodness we got through this hurricane season this year without any major damage, et cetera. And even with the northeasters that came through, we go in afterwards and take a look at everything, but regular maintenance, but nothing new that we have planned right now.
Excellent. Thank you. Mayor Brown, do you have any update as far as what's going on with the Kmart development or redevelopment? Right now it's being used as a COVID testing center. I know there's some demolition's been going on, but do you have any kind of update or timeline or?
Yeah, well, the only thing that has been approved and is moving forward is in where the Lucky's store was. The new Publix will be going in, and that's in addition to the Publix that's right next door. And the thing that makes it a little bit different, I think it's going to be really a great addition for the beaches communities, is they're going to have a nice emphasis on to-go foods, a lot more to-go foods, a lot more foods that you can just package up. And they're going to have beer and wine there as you shop, which none of the Publixes that I've seen have had those. Lucky certainly did. If you want to go and have a beer while you're shopping, or
I think that was a major question.
Shopping is our pleasure. So I think that what they're going to be doing is something that's going to be a little unique for the new store, and a lot of outdoor dining, so that people can go out there and have their lunches, et cetera. So I think it's going to be nice, and it's coming along very well. That is all. We don't have any demolition that is planned for or has been asked for permitting from the city for the Kmart itself.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you for that update. Mayor Hoffman, I don't know if you know this, but
I'll make something up. I'm just kidding.
do you know how many, how much of the new construction that's going on in Jax Beach? I know there's, some high rises going up that were actually grandfathered in before the 35-foot height limit. So what can we expect to see as far as Jax Beach and the new construction?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's fresh on my mind since this was discussed at our open house earlier today. So after the 2004 height amendment was passed, we did have some property owners that sued for vested rights and won. So they have a judge's order to be able to build to a certain height. It's different for each property. So as of right now, let me see if I can get them all. The Dolphin Depot property, as it's known. There is the property that the shopping center where Delicombe is, the area, grassy area just north of Casa Marina. I feel like there's one more downtown, but I might be wrong about that. And there is an additional, the condo that was or the proposed condo that was gonna be Waterfall, and now it's called Azure, down at maybe 11th or 12th South, maybe not that far, but that also has vested rights to go higher. Oh, thank you, Martha. 15th Avenue South. So there are still a few properties. This is so when you see those go up, that is no action of this city council or really any city council. This was a judge's order that they were allowed to do that.
And are they not? They're not restricted to any height limit, even as being.
No, they are. They each have a specific height amendment. Thank you. I think Sandy might have popped in the Spring Hill Suites. That's already under construction. That is going to be above 35 feet as well. So they have a specific amount of height, but it's not universal. It's unique to each of them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they don't have to use it, but if you have it and you're the only ones who have it, you're probably going to use it. So it's just one of those unfortunate, side effects.
Right. Well, it's, if they were already vested to be able to build, then that's kind of what you're dealing with. this is a question for Mayor Brown and, I'm sorry, for Mayor Glasser. And this is, strictly the AB, but, at Atlantic Beach Elementary, from about 1:30 to 3:30, that Sherry Road is just blocked. And, obviously that's a main road, in and out. I know you guys have probably looked at that to try and figure out another way to handle that traffic pattern. Is there anything that's going on with that or to try and better that?
Well, thanks for the question. We do hear from people, especially the people that live right near the school. And we've talked to both ABE and to our school board representative about when they open the gate. As you guys will recall, after the Parkland School massacre, they tightened up on security, so they closed the gate earlier. So they're opening it up a little bit earlier to accommodate that. We are looking at whether we can enter a joint use agreement with the school to perhaps squeeze in another lane so that the people that are waiting could use that. We're looking at apps to let people know when they can show up. We're also looking at our ordinance that relates to parking on the street and whether we can set a time certain before which you cannot be in the street. We don't want to ticket people.
Right.
But
Especially when they're picking up their children.
We start with warnings and education, but we do hear the people that live there. We try to divert traffic. And then the last thing that I'll say is that we've looked at the census that was just completed, and it's kind of surprising that the younger population has actually gone down. So I think this is a reflection of people driving their kids to school. Everybody's driving their own kids to school. We don't have as many buses that come just because of how close they live to the school. We have a great new safe routes to school. A lot of kids are riding their bike. It's awesome, but it's a difficult problem to solve. But we are convinced that we can do a little bit better. So we're working on that.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Mayor Glasser. We have let's see, a question about the marathon. It's coming up. And they're asking, can you route that marathon so the same people aren't sealed in their houses forever? It's been 10 years now for us to have to go to a motel just to get to church on the Sunday that they close our street.
I'll start in Atlantic Beach because for the last few years, it was a very sort of detailed route through a lot of our neighborhoods because it's going to be starting in Jacks Beach and it'll be expanded a little bit. It won't be as complicated as all that. And so the route has changed a little bit so that it's not going to be in front of one of the churches that there was a concern about. So we don't get very many complaints, I'll be honest about it. A lot of people just love it and come out and cheer for the runners. But we have done a lot in terms of pre-race prep to let people know that we'll pick them up in a golf cart if they want it. But if they need to get their coffee and they want to leave during the race, they need to plan ahead for that. So we don't get very many complaints at all. If somebody's got a concern, please reach out to us so we can address that.
I concur with that. And I think the fact that it starts in Jacksonville Beach, it's going to spread it out. So the half marathon will go north and turn around in Atlantic Beach and come back. But I mean, it was a maze when it was in Atlantic Beach. It was amazing that they could get 13 miles out of that area and they did a great job with it. But I could see how that would have really impacted access. I think it's going to be better now. Hopefully, I'm going to knock on all the wood that the out and back north is the half marathon, and then south will be you'll continue past the finish line. I can't imagine running past the finish line to run 13 more miles, but people do it to go down south into Ponte Vedra, and then they'll come back and finish in Jacksonville Beach. So it's not only going to have a more spread out route, but also our police officers, a lot of our volunteer citizens on patrol, they are there if they have an opportunity and a break in the crowd, they know to let people through. And I know that Donna foundation group is doing a lot of door knockers and getting information out to make sure people can plan ahead. It's early on a Sunday morning. It's probably the least impactful time. So I would say, let's see how it goes this year. And I anticipate people won't be stuck for quite as long as they have been in the past.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, and I see, can you hear me? Yeah,
Mhm.
we really and truly have some, you know, we've had the experience with it. Our police officers work with both Atlantic Beach and Jacks Beach. They've had many, many meetings about all of this, and they're stationed at the corners so that as there is a break, they can let the traffic go through. And really and truly, we haven't had that much of a wait when we needed these breaks. As Mayor Hoffman was saying, this is going to go pretty fast through us. And it is, you know, it's a longer route and not going through Atlantic Beach the way that it had and through Neptune Beach. And so we feel as though this time, I think we'll see a major difference in how we're all handling it. This is what, our third year? Is it our third year of handling it out here? And going through the two Atlantic and Neptune Beach. And I think that, again, I have to say, we haven't had many complaints, but when we have, you know, we've certainly tried to address them with the public, and having the police officers there to help get them through is a big deal.
Well, it's definitely a concerted and orchestrated effort for all three beaches. And so, you know, the citizens I know support the marathon, they support, you know, Donna's foundation. So it's a great thing to have here at the beach. Unfortunately, we're at 8:31. We're trying to keep it at 8:30. If I did not get to your questions specifically, please email directly to your mayors, to your elected officials, and they will certainly respond to you. I want to thank you for all your hard work. This is the most full-time, part-time job I've ever had. I know I can say that personally. And it is one that you all just do a wonderful job, and your entire team, all the council and the commissioners.
Three lady mayors.
Three lady mayors, yes. And
Thank you.
representing our beaches communities with integrity and grace and getting the job done. So we really appreciate you. We look forward to always having you on the program, and hopefully we'll be sometime, you know, seeing you in person sometime soon. We're all Zoomed tired, but take care, stay safe, keep your loved ones safe, and we really appreciate it. And again, if I didn't get to your questions, please email them directly and they will respond. Okay, so thank you all for participating. I apologize it ran over a little bit, but there's so much information to share. We really wanted you to hear everything that's going on. Again, we have a short survey at the end of the meeting. If you please take a minute just to fill that out, that would be great. And then, you know, we'll have the recorded meeting on our YouTube, Beaches Watch 2012, Facebook. Please visit our website, and please thank our elected officials and our men and women in blue and those that keep us safe. And we really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm trying to get out of it. I can't. It's frozen again. Yeah.
Cut into commercial now.